Manufacturing boot camp, it's another idea that came out of Indiana where I've been doing a lot of work. Two people came up with this idea, and now they're spreading it around Indiana. What does that mean? Manufacturing boot camp is designed for those kids who came out of high school with no career, no skills. Now they're going through an 18-week process after high school, and they're getting jobs, and they're moving ahead, and 83% of them are employed. Entrepreneurship training in every high school. In a 14-county region in Indiana, we're going to have entrepreneurship training in every high school. Business plan competitions in high schools. How do you develop all these things? Building quality connected places, Main Street programs, expanding broadband infrastructures. How do you get engaged? What do you do? Branding, effective heritage tourism, figuring out where we can bring new people in to the region. Regional food brands, this is something that's happening in southern Ohio, around the Ohio University. It's a whole bunch of food entrepreneurs have gotten together and started to brand their food in a regional branding. Weekly civic forums. We're doing this right now at Cleveland Institute of Art. We did it at Case when I was there. This is an expanding opportunity. The Charleston Digital Corridor is doing this down in Charleston, South Carolina. They saw the idea. They said, let's do it. They went ahead and started. How much does this cost? Cost cookies and coffee. Regional forums. Move ahead. So this is a map that increasingly regions are using to keep track of what's going on, to keep track of their networks, to start working together, to start collaborating, to start finding new ways to move ahead, to stop complaining, to stop whining, and to start acting. So let's talk about the basics of starting out. What is that? Strategic doing. This is the civic discipline. It's a 4-step process. The first step is to figure out what our assets are, what we could do together, how we could collaborate. The only reason I'm here is to figure out how I might collaborate with 1, 2, 3, 4 of you, figure out how we might work together. Second is to focus on something. Focus on a project quickly. Figure out what you can do together. Collaborate. Third is align. Figure out what resources we need. Move ahead. Fourth is to execute, and then to do it again. Now, developing and moving around this circle doesn't take time. We've moved a group of 200 people around this circle in 2 hours. 20 minutes, 30 minutes at each stop. This isn't a 6-month process. This isn't a 2-year process. This is a daily process, a weekly process, a monthly process. It's something we can do if we have the interest and the desire to do it. So let's look at these forums. At Future, now out at the Cleveland Institute of Art, they're focused on, they have monthly forums focused on the role of digital media. Just down the way here, this Future Forum is exploring how Northeast Ohio could become a leader in creative digital media. Is this an outside-the-box thought? No. Muncie, Indiana is ahead of us. The Triad region of North Carolina is ahead of us. Why? Because they see the opportunity and they're moving. We're not moving. We've got to move. Just a little bit down the way here, in Midtown, you have a civic forum. Civic forum that starts every Friday. It's now moving to every other Friday, I believe. But it's an effort to try to ignite new ideas in Midtown. So they're using workshops and exercises to move around this circle. And they're also focused on how do we create an opportunity here? How do we make this fun? You bet there's a brain drain in Cleveland. It happens every Friday at the Need Brand Partners Loft. Lots of coffee, no wine. You're here, which means you're at the right place at the right time. Everyone leaves with a buzz, and it's only partly due to the coffee. We're here, I'm here, to see if there's anybody interested in working with iOpen. iOpen is based here in Northeast Ohio. We have a partner. We have several partnerships going. One is with an economic modeling company out of Idaho, and we've just formed a partnership with Neartime, which is a Web 2.0 company based in Research Triangle. We're finding partners all over the country. We're not finding them here in Northeast Ohio. We want to reach out to young people, to people who want to get involved and engaged and work with us. We're developing new models for economic development that are exciting, that are engaging, that are focused, that are practical, that are immediate, and that are transformative. The people at Neartime saw the opportunity in working with us, and so they're putting in 5 people to work on our team. We build collaborative platforms based on Web 2.0 technologies, integration of wikis and weblogs, a variety of other opportunities that are come out of that platform, including an e-commerce engine that enables us to monetize some of these platforms to keep it going outside of the framework, the traditional nonprofit framework, which is take your hat off, hold it out, and hope some foundation will drop some money into it. That old model doesn't work. It's not going to work here, and it's not something that we're pursuing. We're pursuing a value-added strategy that's based on developing new types of collaborations and monetizing them along the concept of the long tail. So what's next? Is there support among the folks in Nauticon to have an open network of open source software developers to support open source economic development? That's the open question. I put up a website this morning, which I'll link to. You can copy down the URL if you're interested. It's nauticon-iopen.neartime.net. This enables us to collaborate. You can join it, join the space. We can work together using the Neartime platform. If that's not something you want to do, we've got the Drupal platform going in some places. Obviously, WordPress is a very simple blog platform that people are using, but you got to find ways to connect and move people forward. And in order to do that, we've got to have some software tools, internet tools to do it. If there are people in Northeast Ohio who want to work with Open, we're open to it. But as I said, we're already moving ahead with groups outside of the region simply because we see some real opportunity. They looked for us, they found us, and they started to ask to connect. So with that, I want to open any discussion or any questions that you might have. That's pretty much the outline of what we're doing in iOpen. We have a new opportunity, I think, here in Northeast Ohio to link up what we're doing with what's taking place with Laz Kozman, who's a consultant here in town, who's been working with us, with Valdis Krebs, who's been working with us, and the invitation is always open to participate. Any thoughts? Any questions? Yeah.
Sorry, your focus seems to be on the open source innovation, and you've mentioned software, but some of your examples were of manufacturing. I'm wondering if they're attempting to use, to take these kids that are going a vocational route and trying to see if they can be adapted to do software type stuff, manufacturing but in a software sense. Manufacturing widgets and things like this.
Well, I mean, you know, these are old categories, so you've got to reckon. If you are in manufacturing now, if you don't understand software development, at least on a rudimentary level, and increasingly, if you don't understand Web 2.0 tools and can't operate in those environments, you're going to become increasingly obsolete. Manufacturing has become a high-tech business. It's not about sitting there and tightening bolts. All those jobs have gone or are going overseas. So manufacturing becomes a higher technology business that involves the integration. And increasingly what I'm talking about are collaborative tools, knowledge sharing, and building those kinds of communities, knowledge communities, across working groups, within a company, across companies, the collaboration that has to happen among these manufacturers. So you've got to find people who feel comfortable in that world. So I don't see it as a manufacturing versus software, or I don't see a hard division between those two.
On that note, Ed, recently Alvin Toffler talked in Youngstown.
Yes.
And he talked about that there is a place for manufacturing today, but we are going from mass manufacturing to advanced manufacturing, which means that it will become more customized and will need more technological, more software, more things like that. So manufacturing is still a part, but it's evolving into something more.
Let,
Yeah,
let me
demassification.
let me try to put a finer point on that. We're talking about moving from a first curve economy to a second curve economy. What defines the first curve economy and the second curve economy are the business models underlying those economies. The business model underlying the first curve economy is hierarchical. It leads to a multi-divisional structure in a corporation. It's all about trying to control large flows. And hierarchies are great at doing that. You have to have hierarchies to do that. Now we're moving toward business models that are more networked. We have auto manufacturers who are on the first curve. General Motors and Ford are stuck on the first curve. The second curve automobile manufacturers are Toyota and Honda. So it's not a move from, as Gloria points out, it's not a move away from manufacturing. It's a move toward a different type of manufacturing based on a different business model. And the business model involves networks, business networks. And it is increasingly going to be driven off the internet. The internet is our first interactive mass medium. We haven't really quite figured out what that means yet. But what it does mean with Web 2.0 is the exploitation by people without strong computer backgrounds of the interactivity of the net. That's what Web 2.0 tools are all about. Can you put those Web 2.0 tools in the hands of people who don't have a background in business, in software development? Example, Wufoo. Look at what Wufoo is able to do. You're sitting at your desk. You don't have any background in software development. You have a customer list of 5,000 people. In the space of about 3 minutes, you can query those 5,000 people, send out a Wufoo survey, and get the results back within 8 hours. Now that's extremely powerful. And you don't need a software background to do that. That's what a Web 2.0 tool does. So it creates all sorts of new opportunities for network business models. All sorts of new opportunities. But the economic development structure, the way in which we approach economic development, the way in which we approach our civic space is going to change. And the regions that figure this out faster are going to prosper better, more. Yep.
That thing you just said, what is it, Wufoo?
Wufoo.
So that's a second curve turn, because you couldn't really say that in a first curve boardroom, could you not?
Maybe. Yeah, right. I don't know, do people know about Wufoo? Okay, well, Wufoo is, again, go onto the web, look at wufoo.com. I'll try to draw it up here. It's essentially a form builder, survey builder that enables you to build a fairly complex interview, questionnaire. People are familiar with SurveyMonkey, right? Rather clunky first effort. Wufoo is much more sophisticated. Now you